the system that I set up is very flexible. So as we get features and we get additional approvals, I can add it onto the site, and we can fit it in there without it making it feel like it's all squished. So I also wanted to show you something that was very interesting, the difference between being able to buy and sell Bitcoin. So it's almost a very simple process where you can review it, you see the price, you set a price, you review the order, you complete the order, and then you get the coin or you get the cash. Now with options, there is a lot more detail and a lot more nuance in there. So someone will have to have like the first few things, but then they're also reviewing expiration dates. At expiration, what do they think the price will be? What are the price? How much does it cost? What does it look like between a call and a put? So these are all the things that someone is reviewing as they're trying to figure out, like, do they want to make that trade? So this is just to kind of show you the density of choices and decisions someone is trying to review while they're making a decision. Yeah, and then what I'm doing is making sure that the information is paced so it prevents information overload. The last thing I want to do is just shove so much data in their face. It just becomes a turnoff. So my goal was to make sure that the information was presented in a way that it was always in context and when the user wanted it. So some of the other things I've done is kind of taken a look at data heavy places. So something like a train timetable or an airport. I also got the chance, I was very lucky where I got a chance to kind of see, I got to visit like a Chicago pit, just to kind of be able to see how people are trading and what are they looking for. And then you really see like the nuance of how fast they're looking at information. It's like, okay, so I can kind of try to get that feeling. And someone was also able to show me like the Bloomberg terminal. And I know it's like design-wise, it's a little all over the place, but once someone was showing me how they were using it, it's actually quite a powerful piece of product where you're getting information as quickly as possible to be able, again, make decisions. And then finally, just bringing wayfinding in here. So what I like about it is it's always kind of guiding someone through a location, and I can kind of pick up some of these elements to apply to the design. Okay, so this is a quick overview, and it does look a little scary at first, but as you start to understand the pieces, it starts making a lot of sense. So what I've tried to do is break it down into what does this user have to work with? So the account balances and positions that are locked are available at the very top. We have charts, so they can also see over time how Bitcoin or volatility index has performed. And some of these features we're adding on in the next few weeks, so I think it's okay to show. And then again, like the star of the show is being able to see what's available in options. So someone can easily scroll down and see expiration, see the prices, see how much interest is within a price, and then just also adding little things like, oh, if it flashes green, this particular shade of green, that means it's been going up, and another one flashing red is going down. And then being able to show if a user has participated, being able to highlight their positions and the side that they're on within the universe of the options chain. So that's this guy over here. And as someone clicks, so this starts to deliver a little bit of the story. And then as a user clicks to check out an order, I'll have them click. And then what I've also done is try to isolate the order form so it's always in one location. So it again reduces the load of, where's the form? Where's the form? Okay, the form is always going to be here. We'll have information like the contract and all the information they want to play with, as well as being able to buy or sell. And then at the same time, we're also offering information in context. So this is being able to show, an example here would be being able to show Greeks over time and also an order book. So the idea is to be able to expose what people are trying to offer. And then from there, you can decide to pick up something or offer a different price. And then finally, on the right side, this is how the user can also manage and watch over what they're doing in terms of trades. So the trade blotter is a global representation of all the trades that have happened. And again, if a user has made a trade, they'll see themselves highlighted within there. So they can kind of see a context of, oh, I made that trade at this time within this context. And we also have open orders. So these are orders that are not filled yet, and positions. So again, it's trying to balance the amount of information and then just calling up stuff as someone needs it. And then being able to make sure if someone's on the go, this shows up really well on mobile and tablet. So again, these are just like mock-ups right now, but the idea is, okay, so the screens are a lot smaller. What do I prioritize first? How do I ensure that like a finger tap is also accounted for? So this is where that sort of information, like having the fonts a little bit larger so it's easier to see, making sure a finger tap is accounted for, kind of guides like how much information is being shown and what makes sense as the user needs it. And then finally, once we have a product, how do we build awareness? So, we have a product, it's working really well, but again, how do we build awareness for the customer? So we're trying all these different methods to reach out to a customer, and it's not enough just to say, hey, we're here, but what do we offer? So we can talk about educational content. We have a help desk that's always available, so if they're not quite ready, they can go and browse the content as they need to make a determination. We're also working on marketing to kind of get our names out there, working through social media and optimizing keywords and doing podcasts and presentations. So finally, the quick summary is UX and product design are important because it makes complicated things feel more approachable. And then just a quick summary of all the items that we've kind of touched upon that help build that story. And that's my deck.
Great. Thank you very much, Karen.
Sure.
I always love to hear your design stories and how you think about it. And it's great. Like for anyone who doesn't know Karen, I think she's like the most organized person I've ever met. Really good at keeping everything right in place. And you can tell from her also like experience in the design space. So, okay, so it seems like we have a few questions since we are we're like a smaller group. We are gonna unmute everyone if I can figure out an easy way to do it.
Okay.
Ask all to mute. There you go. Now you can all unmute and ask questions. I would like to start actually with the first question that I see on the chat from Elena, which is, Elena, you wanna ask it yourself?
Yeah, happy to. Karen, thanks for the presentation. My question is, how do you balance designing for utility? So just the user who wants to get something done right away, and delight, kind of like having fun. And I think like in the Ledger X example, most users in that context have a very like utilitarian bent, but I'm sure you have found ways to delight them even in that context.
Right. Well, it definitely starts in a place where I almost have a check. I always, Laura knows this about me, but I have a massive checklist because it's regulated. I have to go through this checklist and just make sure everything is in there. But what I can do is just the product itself does lean much more heavy on utility. So what I'll do is kind of take the time with the external awareness campaign and try to make that a little bit more fun. So we have the chance to teach someone how to use it, but also how do we teach them how to make the right decisions to help themselves. I don't know if that answers the question.
I think she's muted again, but yeah,
Oh.
I think everyone can unmute now. Yeah.
Oh, great.
All right. Any other questions from anyone? Right. I have a question. While we can unmute ourselves. How? I actually allowed everyone to unmute. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I just gave again a chance.
So you did, and then you muted all of us again, and
all right, sorry, Marina.
Sorry.
Okay, there you go. Allow participants to mute themselves. Okay, now you should be all okay. All right, go ahead. Marina, you had a question, I think, right?
Now it's working fine, yes.
Perfect. Wonderful. All right, so questions from anyone else, anything?
I have a question after you, if it's okay.
Please go first.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
So I absolutely love the idea that you went to the stock market and looked how it's actually done. Because when I was doing my first foreign exchange trading system, I've never seen it, and I didn't understand how they were doing it. It was very difficult.
Mm.
But I'm curious on what lessons from the other world, non-blockchain world, that are not transferable to the blockchain world.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Well, I was definitely looking at it in terms of what does blockchain do really well, and that's being able to have this ledger where you can kind of watch where funds are moving back and forth. It's great that you can see a hashtag and then be able to put it into something to kind of see where's the order within this blockchain, or where's the order, where's my order. So what I've been doing is, okay, so on Ledger X, the options part isn't quite on blockchain, it's purely trading. But where the blockchain makes sense is when someone wants to take their funds in and out of the platform. So it actually happens very quickly when it's within the blockchain. So I find that an asset. And then you definitely see how much slower banking services are. And it's like, oh, I wonder if there's anything else that can make sense for blockchain. But, I don't have a good answer for that. I know it makes sense for finance. Things to be aware of are the network fees. So how does that get accounted for? Yeah, I would have to think about it a little bit more to kind of figure out, like, A, where can we make it make sense? And then kind of figure.
Could I rephrase my question?
Sure.
You don't have to answer. You can think about it and maybe give me an answer sometime. But since you're going to think about it as well, I might as well rephrase it.
Okay.
So I was curious on the things that you've learned by either going to the trading floor, like you mentioned, or by any other means of looking at the traditional finance that are not useful or detrimental to the blockchain option trading. Sorry.
Okay. I think I misinterpreted the question. Okay, I have to think about this a little bit because I only spent a day there, and what was great was being able to see in-person trades happening. So there is that human element because they have a system where they protected some of the pits, and I was able to kind of see something happening where all these people kind of jumped into the pit and started doing trades, and it's a very human expression where they're flashing signals and being able to trade with each other. And so many people are so busy, and I saw so much activity. I had to ask someone, it's like, how do you know you're making contact with the right person and also trading with the right person? And it's like strong eye contact. So that's something that's very human that isn't quite translatable to the blockchain. But we can certainly do things to, try to get that thinking in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Francois. He's asking, how do you deal with making users aware of security risks with some blockchain operations or choices?
Well, I guess I'm thinking through being able to move assets to and from the platform, and there are risks in there. But what LedgerX has been doing is making sure we mitigate as many of those risks as possible. So currently, we only allow wire transfers in and out, which requires, there is a fee involved, but it's also making sure the correct name and the correct account is assigned there. In terms of withdrawals, transferring funds on there, we make sure that the instructions are as clear as possible, that you're copying an address to be able to put it into an outside source and send the funds in. From there, you can also watch where it is within the blockchain to kind of see that it goes into your account. And withdrawals, this is where things have been very careful. So as Laura knows, so what's happening right now is what we've done is set up a system where you have the address, let's say you have the withdrawal address, you have the amount in there. We also make sure that the two-factor code is entered with it in tandem. So that's a